This morning I talked a little bit about what we are going to do and how we fit in with PI, with our networking, into the whole that Industry 4 and IoT stuff. This afternoon I want to show you and explain you a little bit what we do actually in Germany with the Industry 4 project. This is a long-term commitment for making German manufacturing industry competitive. But why do we care in Germany? Why do we care about manufacturing industry? Germany, you think about it as a high labor cost, and if you think about manufacturing, you always think about China, Asia. That's the workbench of the world where all this stuff is getting manufactured. But if you look at the numbers, then you have about 7 million Germans being employed in manufacturing directly. And there's probably another 10 million indirectly working in manufacturing industry in Germany. That's roughly 1/3 of the German workforce. If manufacturing would go away from Germany, we would be in deep trouble. And on the other side, when you looked at Germany and the German European economy during the financial crisis, Germany was in a pretty good shape. Of course, we suffered as well. But other European countries suffered way more because they didn't have manufacturing. The financial sector went down, so that was what kept us through quite a bit. So you'll find these numbers in the internet. That's where I got them from. There are tons of reports on that. So that is why we care in Germany, it's for us essential. But on the other side, of course, our government thinks of it as a German initiative to make Germany competitive, more competitive than anybody else. As the industry, we look at that a little bit different because we, of course, like international standards. Our machine builders like to sell the machines globally. That's where they earn the money. They don't earn the money by selling them only in Germany. Companies who build devices, like Siemens, where I'm working for, we like to sell our devices globally, so we need international standards. So it's always a combination of a local initiative versus international standardization. But it's all driven by the German government, and it's called Platform Industry 4. And that really nice speech from Raphael in the beginning, I didn't knew about that, 10 aspects of the innovation. But networking is really key, and that is what it's all about. It's not so much about the technical feature itself that is going to be developed there. It's a long-term project. You could think, well, you could give some money to some universities, they could develop all that stuff. That would probably work as well. But this is an initiative that ties together all the small and medium enterprises in Germany. And we have a lot of them because they are really taking care of the revenue and the GDP in Germany. So we need them. And small and medium enterprises can't do an IoT system for manufacturing alone. They need other companies. They are only one piece of the whole story. And so what the government did basically, they of course came with deep pockets of money and they provided a platform where everybody could work together and collaborate together to create all that stuff. So that is the core essence, and you see all our German associations, the Association of the Machine Builder, the Electrical Association, Bitkom, the IT Association, they are all involved in that, because networking is really the key. What is Industry 4 about? Well, we need to think about new production possibilities, because automation is key. Germany is a high labor cost country, so the more you can automate, the more you're productive, the easier it is to keep your production in Germany. And if you think about companies, we had heard this morning from Martin Müller from Phoenix Contact, or Siemens is the same thing, we have production facilities in Germany for all these electronic components. They are built in Germany. We don't need to build them in China. We do, but we sell them for the Chinese market. But we do the same thing, produce all the stuff in Germany as well. And it's possible because of automation. And so if we bring that one step further, and the idea is really to tie the design process and the production process together closely. So being quicker from design. When you have a designer drawing some, ideas, how the product should look like and how it is, and bring that closer to the way how it is produced and bringing changes quicker there, then you make it that you can produce smaller lot sizes, that you can customize products, that you can be quicker, and all that kind of thing. And that's really what it is. So tying the entire production value chain together. And now it comes more as a technical part of it, how all that is done. But this is really a very high-level concept and more helps for all these people who are involved in that to work together, defining a common language. Because if you really want to have IT people working together with OT people, then you first need to, find a common base. And that's what exactly is RAMI, the model is about, defining the playground and then identifying, okay, where do we have standards already and where do we need one? And that's why it's a three-dimensional model. One in the middle part is the product life cycle, and that's really the core of it. So having from the product design until the time when it's produced, one consistent model for it, one consistent data model. We call it the digital twin, basically. All information need to be available for everybody at every time, consistently, without, handing it over to somebody and waiting for his feedback. It must be the same data. So every product, basically, and every element in that thing has a digital twin, digital information. And that's on the left side, it's the architecture where we put the information in different levels. So basically, the physical world, that's a real thing, maybe our product. And then, of course, there's the way how we communicate with that. A product like that would probably have something like a barcode because it's not communicating with anybody. But the barcode is enough to reference to something, some information storage where all the rest is. And that's in the digital world. Having communication possibilities so that that virtual representation of that thing can communicate with machinery, telling them how it is going to be produced, what it is actually, what should happen with it. The data, all the information about the product, even CAD drawings, product manuals, stuff like that. Then the functionality, how it is used or abused, exactly, things like that. And then the business processes behind it, where all the business revenue stream is in there. And then on the right-hand side, it's the future hierarchy. In the past, we had a very strict hierarchy, how a factory is built. So from the devices, talk to PLCs, to the machines, to the product lines. In the future, everything will communicate with everything, basically. And that's why we need Ethernet-based and IP-based technology to do exactly that. Because we want to integrate all the suppliers in there as well. This product is, of course, assembled by somebody, but there are parts in there which come from somebody else. And that supplier needs to talk or needs to be integrated into that production value chain as well. And we do that digitalization aspect, that's the second core aspect of the RAMI model, by what we call administration shell. So that's basically the virtual thing that wraps around the product and acts as a digital twin for everything the product is about in the virtual world. So you have a physical world, you have a virtual world, and they are uniquely tied together, and you have some virtual aspect as virtual representation, which is the administration shell. And this is the whole concept of Industry 4.0. Of course, if you look at it, then there are a lot of details. But this is the basis, the platform which we talk to each other now. Because that is how IT people can be involved with the OT people. How do you do that order management in a factory? How does it integrate it? Or Mr. Miller was explaining this morning, how do you do that mass customized products, that you have all that clamps mounted on a deal ray and order just one single product of that, based on endless possibilities of combinations. That's exactly what is possible then with that concept. But of course we're in an early stage of that. It's a long-term effort. But how do we as PI, which I'm representing as well, fit into the whole thing? Of course, communication is essential. Yeah? We don't do the CAD drawing software, but we make the machines later on talk to each other. And so all the shop floors talking to each other, factories talking to each other. That's how communication fits in there, and that's why our PROFINET technology, we believe, because it's standard Ethernet technology, can be the backbone for that communication in the end. So I hope I could give you a very brief and quick overview what Industry 4 is about. Of course, you could talk an entire day about that stuff and wouldn't even be finished, but the idea is really creating a platform for all the stakeholders involved to work together. That's the whole idea of the platform. Of course, there is a lot of government funding which helps motivating the people to work together. And yeah, in the end, I believe this is not a German initiative, although the German government funds and drives it, but it must be a global initiative, because otherwise Germany cannot work alone on that. And if you see at the value chains in the end, you will have suppliers all over the world, and they need to be tied into that as well. So it can't be a pure single German initiative. So I hope that you can have your share in there as well, and that really helps and will help Germany to stay competitive in the manufacturing market and help keeping manufacturing in Germany. Thank you.